Alright, in this video we're going to take a look at the reciprocals of sine, cosine, and tangent. So in addition to our big three, sine, cosine, and tangent, we have three additional trig ratios which are just the reciprocals of sine, cosine, and tangent. And those ratios are, in order, cosecant, which is the reciprocal of sine, secant, which is the reciprocal of cosine, and cotangent, which is the reciprocal of tangent. So you probably did not talk about these in geometry class, whereas you did talk about sine, cosine, and tangent, but they have reciprocal functions or ratios. And I'll use trig ratios and trig functions interchangeably. They have reciprocal ratios, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. So cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite, the reciprocal of sine. Secant is hypotenuse over adjacent, the reciprocal of cosine. And cotangent is adjacent over opposite, the reciprocal of tangent. So if you've already found sine, cosine, and tangent, you can take the reciprocals to get cosecant, secant, and cotangent, respectively. So example 2, we're going to use the same triangles we used in example 1, A, B, and C, but now we're going to write the ratios for cosecant, secant, and cotangent of angle A. So first up we have cosecant, which is hypotenuse over opposite, and that's 17 over 8. Secant is hypotenuse over adjacent, or 17 over 15. And cotangent is adjacent over opposite, which is 15 over 8. So there's our three ratios for cosecant, secant, and cotangent for angle A. All right, example 2b, we have this triangle again, same as we had for example 1b. Cosecant of A is hypotenuse over opposite, which is going to be 5/3. The secant of A is hypotenuse over adjacent, which is 5/4. And the cotangent of A is adjacent over opposite, which is 4/3. All right, example C, if you recall, we found the hypotenuse and simplified it as 3 times the square root of 34. We started with 9 and 15. We had to use Pythagorean theorem to get the hypotenuse and simplify it as 3 times the square root of 34. I believe it came out to be 306, square root of 306, which simplifies as 3 times the square root of 34. So cosecant of A is hypotenuse over opposite, which is 3 square root of 34 over 15. What's nice about this one is, whereas sine had the square root of 34 in the denominator, this reciprocal does not have a square root in the denominator, so we don't have to worry about rationalizing it. So we just have to simplify the 3 over 15 is 1 over 5, so we get the square root of 34 over 5. For secant of angle A, we have hypotenuse over adjacent, so 3 square root of 34 over the adjacent side of 9, and then 3 over 9 simplifies to 1/3. So square root of 34, 1 times square root of 34 over 3. And finally, cotangent, adjacent over opposite, 9 over 15, and we can simplify that, we can reduce that to 3/5. Alright, that about does it for this video. In the next one, we're going to take a look at the trig ratios for some special right triangles, which we're going to need quite extensively in the next section. So I will see you then.